Please join me in welcoming up to our podium, Deborah McCracken.
Good morning, everyone. Such an honor to be here again with all of you and to have the opportunity to share gratitude and joy for the work that all of you help facilitate in Tanzania. And every year when I come back to Canada, I like to speak thematically, and it helps me memorize, or at least remember what I'm going to say. But it also is important, and the message that I have today is important because I think it really pertains to the world that we are currently living in. So when I have been reading the Bible recently and thinking on the ideas and the calls within the Bible, they're all verbs, they're all actions. They're not Netflix and chill. They're not self-care and all of that. It's really, they're all acts. To witness, to serve. All of these are love's expression, but in action, in a verb. So we're not, this is a word I actually have grown to hate, which is this human being. It's kind of sloth-like. Why can't we talk about humans doing? Why can't we call ourselves, I'm a human doing? I'm not a Christian being. I'm a Christian doing. Because this is what we are called to do. We are called to act. We are called to serve. We are called to witness. And these are actions. Now, the Olive Branch for Children has grown a lot in 20 years. You keep aging me.
Yes. Me too.
We started off by serving 6 children, all of whom have already manifested their tremendous dreams by graduating from university, some of whom are still at university. Shaila's studying to be an engineer, Shama's in the theater arts. It's incredible to see their dreams just come to fruition. But now, as an organization, we are helping over 200,000 people per year. 200,000 people. And we are serving communities and people in all aspects of life, from an individual's life, from infancy to childhood to adulthood and older age, and a community's life, whether that is education, healthcare provision, infrastructure development. We are actively involved and engaging in the lives of the people in the communities because we understand that if we want to see this world that we dream of, because we are the stewards of this world, and we are called upon by God to do something, to mirror his love in action to his people and to his creation. And when we don't do that, we are not fulfilling his will. We are not living the life that we have been asked and called to live. So every year, I also like to share some stories. And firstly, I would like to share the story of Barb Smith, because she's also an important part of the Olive Branch story. And she's also a tremendous example of what it is to be a Christian doing. Because when she came to the Olive Branch about 15 years ago, she wasn't a 20-year-old able-bodied person who came from a very privileged family. No. Barb came with a walker on her own, so she wasn't really mobile. She didn't have a community. She wasn't part of a tour group. She came on her own. And honestly, if I think of what she was able to achieve, she never thought about her limitations. She recognized her need to serve and to share love and to be love in the verb, love in the action. And she got on the plane, and when she arrived, I didn't say, okay, well, you can do a few little things here in Mbeya. I literally packed her off to a Maasai village in the middle of nowhere with her walker because I knew she wanted to serve and she wanted to be part of community. And she had this tremendous experience with the Maasai when she lived in Arusha years ago. And I wanted to recreate that experience, but allow her to be of service in a community that meant something to her. And I'll tell you this, she was doing crafts, she was doing arts, she was playing games, she was helping the kids study in this community. And at the end, there are a bunch of kids in the middle of Tanzania in an area called Ugandilwa that are named Barbara. Because of Barb. Because Barb didn't think about self-care as being, I must look inward. She understood that self-care is an action. We care for ourselves when we care for others. And her legacy is a wonderful one. Another story I have about her thoughtfulness was, you know, when we're living here, we're in Vaughan. So I live in Tanzania, but we stay with my parents. And every time I would come here, she would know that I haven't eaten yet, because I would have been in a rush to leave and everything. And Barb, without fail, would be like, Deborah, do you want a bagel and cream cheese? And she would run out and make sure that I had something to eat. A life of service, always thoughtful. What a tremendous testimony to this church and to this community, but to Barb's wonderful life of love in action. Now, Barb was always a supporter and has always been a supporter of the Olive Branch, and I'm sure she's supporting me still. And every success story is also your success story. So I would like to finish today by talking about Marina, because she also is a young woman who I know and has committed to a life of service. So she is Maasai, but she comes from a very impoverished family. And another Maasai family took her in, but she was meant to help them prepare their children in the morning to go to school. So to put the water on the charcoal fire, cook the breakfast, and do all of this. And she was young. She was the same age as them. She was 12, 11. And they said, if you can get our kids out of the door in the morning, ready for school, then you can get ready and you can go to school. We'll get you your notebooks and pencils and you can go to school. So Marina did this, and as a 10, 11, 12-year-old, she was working very hard so that she could go to school, serving others. Then national exams came. And of that family, she was the only one that passed the grade 7 exams, which meant she got a place in secondary school, and she came on the radar of the government, who recognized that she was not living the life that she should be living. So they reached out to us and said, can you intervene? Can you take charge of this young woman? And I said, absolutely. And she was with us from Form 1 to Form 4, where she worked hard, was always such an amazing member of our Zion home, and passed. And now she's studying public relations and marketing at university, and we couldn't be prouder of her. And her dream is to be able to use her education to serve the Olive Branch for children. So I always find that this resonates with me because, you know, in our own society now, we've really forgotten. We have so much abundance, but we think in lack. And we don't think about extension of ourselves and of service and love in action and how do we live a life that we've been called to live. And a young woman who grew up with nothing, she is prepared to give her life to service. So I think as our world around us continues to change, I think we are now really called to look inwardly and look, are we living the life that we have been called to? Are we living the life that God has asked of us? Are we walking the walk? How do we live love in action? How do we live a life that is about service, witnessing? How do we do this? Now, by extension of your support, you help the Olive Branch and an incredible team of Tanzanians do that every day. every day. And you have been a very important part of this journey, of the Olive Branch journey. But this is a call to action every day, and not just when it's convenient, not just when it's easy. And Marina and Barb are tremendous examples. It wasn't easy for Barb, I am sure, to take the risk and spread the love. But she did it. And she is an example for us all to follow. So again, I'm so honored to be here today, and honored that for me, Barb was a part of my life, my bagel lady, always nurturing, always thoughtful, always filled with love. May we all continue to honor her legacy that